Hello. This video is all about our current timeline. And you can read about it in my book if you'd like. It's available on Amazon.com. And you can go on there and order a copy, or you can read the first chapter for free on Amazon. And you can look at the table of contents for free and see everything that's in the book. And you can learn what time actually is. And as you can see, it's not very thick. And you can read it in a weekend easily. So let's get to it here. So the current timeline. There, we'll get a little chart. Now, you'll probably notice right away that there's a problem, because according to this, Christ was born on his first birthday. What? I don't know of anybody that was born on their first birthday. Do you? No, I've met a few family members when they were newborns, and they were just little lumps. But on their first birthday, they're completely different. So why would they do this? Well, the reason is because in Europe, when they set up this timeline, nobody had ever heard of the number zero. They didn't learn about zero for several hundred years after that. So they were kind of stuck. But why that wasn't changed 1,000 years ago, you got me. So anyway, that's the first crazy thing about our current timeline. And so this 1-year error continues until today. And the first 100 years was actually the 99th year. And the first 200 years, right here, was actually 199 years. And the year 300 was actually the year 299. And it goes right through till today. For instance, the year 2000 wasn't 2,000 years since the birth of Christ. It was 1,999 years since the birth of Christ. So it wasn't 2,000 years until well, until the year 2001. So, anyway, also, here's another confusing thing about our current timeline. You see where it says birth of Christ was year 1. And between year 1 and year 100, they call it the first century, which it was. It was 100 years after Christ was born. So they named that the first century. And the second century was all the years began with a 1. In the third century, all the years began with a 2. And it's been that way ever since. Like the 1900s, which I've spent most of my life in, was called the 20th century. So when some historian says, oh, this took place in the 17th century, they're actually talking about the 600s or the 1600s. And that still confuses me. I don't know what they're talking about. I have to stop and think about it. And then there's another annoying thing about our current timeline. Is when you go back in time and you go past the birth of Christ, all the years start getting larger. And they're the same numbers that they use after the birth of Christ. That's why we have BC and AD. And it's confusing to a lot of people. And so these are the crazy things about the timeline. So in my next video, I'm going to talk about my version of a new timeline that would change all of this and make it easier to remember the past, to remember history, without all these oddball things getting in the way. And you know what they say, if you forget the past, you're doomed to repeat it. So anything we can do to make history easier to remember would be a good thing, I think. So I guess that's all I'm going to say on this video. In the next video, I'm going to lay out my plan for a new timeline that would make things simpler. So don't go anywhere. I'll see you there. Bye.